This is the In the Black podcast.
In the black, bro.
All right, Krush, I know you've got one more thing for us to run through, bro. What you got on deck?
Well, I became aware of a recent video that a certain hip-hop star by the name of Krush 50 Cent Jackson put out in support of Louisiana's Amendment 2.
I'm Dan Jovic. As Election Day looms tomorrow, Curtis 50 Cent Jackson throws his support behind Louisiana Amendment 2, but some question the timing.
I want to see more jobs and prosperity in the state of Louisiana. This is why I support the Amendment 2 on your ballot this Saturday.
But one state representative questions 50 Cent's timing, as well as others coming out in support of the amendment right before the election.
If it's strangers or somebody you've never heard before and haven't heard how this particular organization feels about it, it's political.
Representative Phelps says it does much more than what 50 speaks of in his video. She claims the way the amendment is written is misleading to voters.
Saturday's election is really.
Ironically enough, the news just broke this morning from Joyanne Reed that all of the amendments, all four were voted down. Yep. This was definitely indicative of the sheer lack of influence Mr. Jackson has in politics. It is an example of what the GOP clearly counted on. Perhaps I'm only speculating, but but 50 isn't in the past has not been shy about his allegiances to the Republican Party. He doesn't come out and say he's a Republican, but he doesn't. He has no problem supporting policies and taking pictures with them and celebrating their victories. So I definitely wouldn't mind your guys' take on this particular development and how our celebrities are being utilized in the political space.
Well, I think it's clear that 50 was compromised. I think it's clear that he had an agenda because he needed to fulfill, for lack of a better description, he had a business arrangement, and that was probably part of the business arrangement. And then the governor came and he called his number. He was like, hey, it's time for you to get on deck and make this message. And like you said, 50 has never openly said he was a Republican. 50 has always, well, let me say this. I don't believe that 50 Cent is a Republican. I believe 50, I don't think he has any political affiliation. His affiliation, his desire, his network is all about money, hands down, period. Where the money's at is where 50 is going to be. So I honestly believe, all jokes aside, I honestly believe that if you came up with a business-friendly, money-oriented, and I put that in quotes, agenda from the Democratic Party, that 50 would fall in line, so long as it fits his business and monetary needs. That's my belief. But one thing I will say that I agree with Chambers. 50 will take pictures. He'll talk about all the money and the wealth and how you need to grow that and how you shouldn't be a sucker and all this other stuff that he likes to talk about. But 50 never really talks about politics. He doesn't get into the political circle per se. No. He doesn't do the talking.
He doesn't throw his support behind such and such.
Exactly.
Or full-throated support.
Exactly. But here we are now, which is what led me to believe that he was compromised, that he's doing this. We've watched how many elections? We've watched Obama, we've watched Trump the first time, we've watched Biden, and we've watched Trump another time. And not one time on any national scale has 50 said anything. And that's necessarily, in my belief, is that because he wasn't being courted to do so.
Right.
But here we are, because he has this business need, because he has an allegiance to the dollar. This governor came out and asked him, pulled his card and was like, hey, we need you to do X, Y, and Z. And here he is, without knowing the fundamentals of what's going on, without knowing what the amendments are, without knowing its impact on the black community. And I think it's fair to say that, like I said, what Chambers ultimately said was, in situations like this where you have no idea what's going on in the community, it's all right to mind your business. It's all right to sit this one out.
Yeah.
I don't know how much the governor paid you, but it's okay if you didn't say anything.
In truth, it was completely unnecessary.
It was.
Unless
I don't know anyone in Louisiana that's changed.
Well, coincidentally, a video from Trump supporting the amendment came out right after too.
You said what?
Yeah, a video from Trump supporting the amendment came out also after 50s.
Jesus. All right, L,
But
go ahead, bro.
Still lost.
the
of course.
reality of it is, all of your favorite black celebrities are compromised.
I agree.
Like
You think
all of them are compromised, and most, if not all of them, are aspiring black capitalists. That is why you're going
Absolutely.
to see, or you won't see, none of them take a hard stance against anything. And even when they take a hard stance, i.e., Snoop Doggy Dogg, Calvin Broadus, who some years ago came out and said that he would castigate, denigrate, and call out anybody who supported the current president. The next thing you know, he is hosting a one-man show for all of Trump's favorite people. So, and it's not it's not because he shifted his political affiliation. It's because they chased the bag. Part of why 50 did what he
Yes,
did
Snoop is in crypto also.
was because of the deal that he was trying to make or was able to make down in
He
Louisiana.
had just finalized it. He just finalized it.
50 Cent Jackson visits Shreveport as City Council approves the lease for the Stageworks facility.
50 Cent Jackson was present in the council chambers today to reestablish again his commitment.
Jackson took to the podium during the meeting to express his gratitude for the opportunity.
So any celebrity with serious business interests is vulnerable.
Bruh, and not only vulnerable, but they're not going into these spaces with a political mind. No. So they're not going in saying, I'm supporting Trump for this particular reason. They're not supporting the Republican Party. They're supporting Trump because they feel like Trump can offer them something on the backside.
Incentives.
Right?
Incentives.
Yeah. And because the Democrats have nothing to offer, that's largely the reason why they're not getting anything. Only thing the Democrats have to offer is representation. That's it.
Yeah,
so it's okay for Meg and them to go and be with Miss Harris at her thingamajigger. But that's for the representation component.
It's almost
probably did get part of the bag, some bag. It's not because these folks hold a Democratic, pro-black, or any of these types of politics. They hold the bag politics. All of these motherfuckers have been compromised.
It's almost as if the Democratic Party is unable to communicate with wealthy people of color.
Yeah,
no,
and they can't connect with
I don't think so.
Black people.
I don't think that they have I don't think they have a difficulty with connecting with wealthy people of color because wealthy people of color they all run in the same circles. They all run in the same circles, my guy. So it's not to say that they don't know how to.
Then what are they not saying to 50?
Okay, what they're not saying to 50, I think, is
because I can give you a bunch of land in Louisiana to use for your damn studio. To push all
that's what
19
I'm saying.
Of your powers.
That's my point. They're giving direct incentives. It's not necessarily about talking about the policy. It's direct incentives.
Direct incentives,
yeah.
50 can't make money from policies in his mind.
Exactly. That policy don't mean shit to me. How am I going to eat tomorrow? When is that check going to hit my account? That's what it boils down to. And I know that me and Eldrin, we've had battles about this before, about the necessity. Let me not say necessity. About the belief that any movement needs celebrity. And I think, honestly, that every movement does need some level of celebrity. Not necessarily because they have anything more salient to say than people that have boots on the ground.
Yeah.
But because they already come predisposed with a platform. They come predisposed with a following. Typically, these people are also charismatic. So you can use all of those elements to your benefit. It's the problem when we buy into all of the charisma and the platform and we throw all the other shit to the side, why these people are supposed to be here. I think that's where the problem comes in. Or we use these celebrities and elevate them higher than the academics and the activists that are actually doing the work to make the change versus these people that are going to benefit from the work and the change.
Now, what about the outcome here? I mean, what does the striking down of these amendments say? Long term, you think? Is it a sign? Is it a spark of things to come?
I don't know
I think
necessarily
for
if it's
the people of Louisiana, I think it is a demonstration of what people on the ground have been fighting for. Because one of the voices that was the loudest against 50 Cent, who I don't think 50 was knowledgeable about this particular thing.
I don't think
I
it
think
was
some
either.
folks
I
just
doubt it.
hitting with this, hey man, I really would like for you to speak on this particular thing. And I believe they sold it the same way they try to sell it to everybody else. That it's going to benefit these groups of people. And 50 was like, oh, okay, cool. I already got my thing for the land and all those. So I don't think it was the fact that he knew what was taking place. I think it's a victory in many ways for what we're seeing from people on the ground
Yeah,
fighting and actually
they're
putting.
working in Louisiana. They're working out
They're
there.
doing the work. It's an example of
Yeah,
what
it's a great example.
grassroots are doing. Now, I will say this. This was a last minute announcement or a last minute public announcement from Curtis Jackson.
Yep, and the governor.
This
Yep,
wasn't an extended
Campaign. It wasn't a big campaign.
campaign. So to be clear in full context, while I think it was a victory for the people, I want to be clear that if he would have had a longer sustained campaign to be involved in this, I got to back up to what Sean said a few moments ago about the influence of celebrities and how when celebrities say things, we lack such media literacy and class analysis that we immediately gravitate to what they're saying.
Yeah.
And I think that's been, again, one of the
Good
dangerous
point.
aspects of the Democratic Party's ideology, that they feel like we are just always going to buy into the celebrity culture component and not actually look for policy that is going to change the material conditions of their constituents. While the Republicans have, to the detriment of most of us, including them, provided policies to their constituents.
Yeah.
Which is the difference between the two parties in many instances. Some are simple definition. It's if 50 would have had a chance, man. And 50 don't care. Like 50 don't care that he was wrong. He don't care.
Not even a little bit.
This is a guy who has made his
the deal's been signed. You know what I'm saying? The ink is dry, so it doesn't matter.